RJTI charts versus Goldman Sachs. Are they late to the party? Versus the VIX, CBOE Market Volatility Index. On March the 31st, 2025, Goldman Sachs updated its outlook from 20% to 30% chance the economy could falter into a recession. This is somewhat hilarious because 20% to an increased 30% outlook is different than telling that something may happen versus something is to happen. And furthermore, why are they now reporting their outlook as if this is eye-opening information, a new revelation? But what were they saying in year 2024 before President Trump's tariffs or NVIDIA tanking or the markets in general? Did they tell you to sell near the top for all three indexes, NASDAQ, S&P 500, DJ30, Apple, NVIDIA, Gartner, Meta, Palantir, before year 2025? And might I add, they have 10,000 times our workforce. Yet, I think one should not wait to indicate after an unfolding, but to tell before things unfold. And this is where our algorithm seems to match the gurus and wizards of Wall Street. In year 2024, bulls were dancing in the streets like there was no tomorrow. And while stocks was rising like NVIDIA climbing to the moon, Palantir up and away in the environment of a good economy, massive job creations, etc. This is what we inform you. So, why should we be surprised at Goldman Sachs' 2025 revelation that the economy could spin into a recession, and from their reporting that they've increased their thesis from 20% to 30% probability of an expected recession? We told you a little bit over a year ago in the midst of good times, not after eyes came to understand the White House's circumstances. And furthermore, as of April the 1st, 2025, NVIDIA is still on pace to trade under $100 per share in spite of the bounce off of 331.25 low. More than a year ago, on March the 20th, 2024 at 4:07 p.m., we sent out RJTI charts versus Jerome Powell is a screwball, and its FOMC members are dumb dwarfs. Point 1. The garbage that the FOMC is to lower interest rates 3 times this year is a very small possibility. Maybe somewhere in the range 10 to 15% according to our algorithms. I just cut CNBC at 1:43 p.m. Central Daylight Time off because listening to Jerome Powell was giving me a headache. Anyways, here's one of our points. Inflation isn't going to be contained enough this year, 2024, according to our algorithms, for the FOMC to cut interest rates. What our algorithms offer is that food prices are to climb again and basic materials are to also increase in value. That energy prices are to be a battle for the U.S. too, as upward pressure for the energy sector, and particularly crude oil trade, will continue to put forth an effort to climb above $100 a barrel. We went on to say that maybe we don't go into a recession year 2024, but I would be very weary of years 2025, 2026, especially since we are so intertwined with other countries which aren't as fortunate in similar growth as the USA is experiencing. And remember, it only takes one country to have pneumonia for the USA to catch a cold. And I firmly believe that Argentina is at the top of my list. Well, it's nice to know that Goldman Sachs has joined our outlook, but to us, this seems a little late to the party. Next, in regards to the VIX, CBOE Market Volatility Index. We've told over and over that a pop would occur, and it has happened, but here's what most don't see what we see. Yet, take a look at our chart sent last year. September the 24th, 2024. If we look at the bottom of this chart here, you'll see that we got it right in 2018. We got it right in 2020. We got it right in 2022. You can see what kind of effect that had on the Dow. In 18, 5,239 points. In 2020, 11,354 points that we forecast would happen. In 2022, when we said there would be a bear market, the Dow dropped 8,291 points. And so we're pointing out that in 2024, if you look at the bottom there, it says, not whether we're questioning, but we pretty much say how much of pop is coming is the only question. 4/1/2025. The VIX has had 4 pops higher since our forecast, and yet this doesn't even scrape the surface as to how high it is to go. Now, what we're going to do is to show you a few of our targets for the VIX pops that's coming around the corner. So I understand why Goldman Sachs increased their outlook for a possible recession. If you look at the next chart here, it is not if it's going to happen, but it is just a matter of time before it does happen. And as you can see, the levels on the left side of the chart, according to the colored lines, we've got some objectives already met throughout the year, which was when we got as high as above the green line at 27. We've got targets 31.35, 34.22, 37.39, 40, and levels above that we believe that the VIX is going to move to. It is easy to see the trees that make up the forest, and it's even easier to see the forest that's made up of trees, but it's not so easy to see behind the forest. Get your Rambo today. RJTICHARTS.com, driven by infinite wisdom and its proprietary trade systems.